Welcome to another episode of Veterans View. And today we have some special guests with us from down in Ozark, Alabama. My name is Leroy Davis, and this is the Veterans View Show, and I will be your host. And today we have with us Ronnie Davis he was the executive director of the RC&D Wiregrass. Also, we have Anna Cornelius with us, who's the program coordinator, and Nikki Ham, who is the lead coordinator. So today, before we get started, I want to ask our guests to introduce themselves, and we'll start with Mr. Ron Davis, the executive director. Tell us a little something about your background, your history, and Wiregrass.
My name is Ronnie Davis. I am the executive director for Wiregrass RC&D. I've been in this position for approximately 4 years, and I live in Headland, just down the road here on 431, and operate a farm there now. And in my retired capacity, I have taken over the position as executive director and for Wiregrass RC&D, and we've kind of taken a new direction in our approach to how we do things there. You know, my skill sets gave me an opportunity to look at how we can better serve our community with the resources that we're getting. And so far we've been very successful at that. We're growing every year, expanded every year. Anna and I just done our budget the other day, and I was really amazed at how far we've come in 4 years of being able to take the resources that we are granted by virtue of the state legislature to redistribute in the rural communities that we live in. It's a grant request process that we go through every year. We deal with small grants for a lot of different projects, especially nonprofits, units of government. Our first responders and law enforcement are priority in what we do. We do a lot of work within education, and it's a challenge every day to try to help people solve issues, because, as you well know, funding of anything is effortless. You got to be on your toes every day looking for resources to do things, and ours. Sometimes, you know, we look at what we do as not necessarily being the source to get a project done, but we are the source for seed money to get a project started. Okay. Or we could be the final piece that it takes to put the puzzle together. You know, we like partnership. We're big into partnership. I learned that working for USDA in my last job with rural development. We partnered with a lot of people in order to make projects successful. And of course, what we deal with here is a much smaller scale, but yet it still works. The process still works. The theory for how we fund projects is still, you know, if everybody's got, what as they say, skin in the game, then project gonna stick and it'll work.
And that's great. And I just wanted to ask you one more question before we go to the other two, is that ask you to tell us what RC&D stands for, and also how the state breaks down into the RC&D.
Well, RC&D stands for Resource Conservation and Development, and at one time, RC&D was a federally funded organization that still had a board of our council, board of directors, so to speak, that were represented by members within each of the 9 counties, or 10 counties. We have 10 counties here we serve in southeast Alabama. The state's broke up in 9 different regions, and if I started trying to name them all off, I'd forget.
Well, you don't have to name them.
But we have like Gulf Coast to the west of us, we got Mid-South to the north of us, and then it extends on all the way to the Tennessee border. But there are 9 different regions. We are one of those 9. We have 10 counties that go from the southeast corner of Houston County to the northeast corner of Russell, and then we kind of meander back down through Pike County, through Crenshaw, down to Covington, and then straight back across the Florida line. So it makes up the 10 counties that we are part of, and fortunately for Russell County, you got tagged as being a part of the Wiregrass, which is a great place to live. And
yes.
So But we've today RC&D actually serves as a functioning arm for the state of Alabama. Mm-hmm. We're less federally funded now than we were. In fact, we're not even federally funded at all. Our resources now are mostly directed from the state legislature, and it gives them a mechanism to help better distribute resources they got across the state to benefit folks that have needs and issues and concerns.
All right, thank you. And now we're going to move to Anna. Would you tell us about your job as program manager and tell us about yourself first?
About myself first. Well, I'm Anna Cornelius, and I am a mom, and I also have a background in accounting and marketing, and I was a professional photographer for a very long time. And so I came into this is actually a very perfect job for me because I have to use all of those skills that I have. This is the first job I've ever had that uses all those skills. So, but what I do at Wiregrass RC&D is I am the program manager, and so I keep whatever program that our board decides, whatever our priorities are we set for the year, I walk people through the process of the grants, and then I also manage the books and keep everything running on budget.
Okay, and tell us your office address, Anna.
Our office address is 211 North Union in Ozark, Alabama.
Okay, and do you have a phone?
We do. Our phone number is 334-774-2334.
And you'll be able to see that at the bottom of the screen. And now we'll move over to Nikki Ham. Nikki is the head of the Wiregrass Lead program. So Nikki, tell us something about yourself first, and then a few words about the Wiregrass Lead.
Okay. I'm Nikki Ham, and I am a retired teacher. I was in public education for 23 years. I'm a poultry farmer, and now I am the coordinator for LEAD, which is Leadership, Education, and Development. And that's a program that RC&D has put together to help build effective leaders in communities, helping to unify the Wiregrass. We have a program that we bring the LEAD participants together every other month with a different focus each time, hoping to build stronger communities through these people.
Okay, great. And I must say that I am a member of the Wiregrass, and I represent Russell County, and I thank you because I am in that program for leadership, and I think it's something that has been long awaited for, and thank you guys for doing it. Now, Ronnie, talk about the grants that we do as far as trying to help our schools out, and we do that.
Well, our grant program is an annual program that we start in April. Every year we take applications from April 1st, normally till June the 1st. This year we had a little different change in plan because of COVID, but everything changed because of COVID. But our normal grant season starts April 1, goes through June 1st. We take applications online, and we have a website that you can go to. I'll let Anna share that website address because it does give you a lot of information about what we do. It's where our application process is. You make your applications there and sign up. Once we take in all the applications, then we sit down and each county has its own set of applications. It has its own amount of money that we can look to fund these applications. They're basically general applications, and then they're education applications. Once we get all these applications together, we have a council, and I didn't share this a while ago. Each county of the 10 counties has a 4-member council board, so to speak, that represents that county with Wiregrass RC&D. From those 4 members, there's one person that serves on our executive committee. And Greg Glass is the representative from Russell County here on that board. And but we sit down, we go to each county after we get the applications together, and we get the 4 council members together, and we go over these applications. We rank them based on against our priorities of what we've established within our guidelines of what we want to meet the needs of first. And then once we get those scored, we rank them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Normally we have enough money to fund 3 to 5 a year. And then if one should drop out, we just drop to the next one and move forward on that one. But the education programs that we work with, and I just cover general too. The general ones cover mostly your law enforcement, your first responders, playground equipment, city improvements, sidewalk, streets, walking trails, recreational type, anything you got related to your town, that's what that program covers. Education, on the other hand, deals with needs that may be a part of any school system, whether it be public or private. It can involve buying educational equipment, educational needs that may be anything that's directly related to the education of a child, whether it be equipment, software, computers, Chromebooks, classroom materials, any of those kind of what I call hard items that you can lay your hands on, that you can touch and feel, are a part of what goes on in that program. Now we don't use any of this money to pay salaries. Can't do that. But I figure if we can buy the equipment and help get the needs of what's necessary to teach a class or to carry out an education program, then we've accomplished our mission.
Right. And one of the things that I tell my schools is when you apply for a grant, we can't pay salaries, as Ronnie mentioned, but if we buy the equipment, you ask your system to pay for the installment.
That's right. And
so therefore, you're helping the school district, and the district just pays for the installation, which is a lot cheaper than what we are doing for them. Now,
and let me mention one other thing too. We also expand into adult education too as well. We work very closely. In fact, we have as I said a while ago, we're big into partnership. We do a lot of work with Troy University. We have a good partnership with Wallace Community College system. We've done a lot of work with Extension and Auburn University. We've done a lot of work with the University of Alabama. So we pull no punches. If anybody's got a program, an educational program that we can either support or we can help direct or we can help carry out, that's what we're looking for. And one program that's kind of unique that we are funding this year is a women's welding class.
Okay, great.
That's being handled through the Wallace College technical program.
Is that the one out of Eufaula?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, actually, it's going to be out of Eufaula and I think out of Ozark too. Midland City.
Okay.
The Dothan campus down there. So it's a pilot program. They're trying to figure out how to expand opportunities for employment in the more challenging counties.
Okay, great. We have Chattahoochee Valley Community College here, so we might want to get them some information about that program and see if they want to get interested. Now, I had one other question for you, Ronnie, before I go to the ladies, and that question is on when you divide the funding up between the 10 counties, is it by the size or is it just an equal thing?
Everybody gets an equal distribution of money. Normally our funding is based on the allocation that comes to us through the state legislature. We've been very fortunate in the last 3 years that every year our allocation has increased because tax revenues, it's based off the revenues that come in to the state. And those revenues have increased, and by virtue of that, it's increased our funding so that we can turn around and all we take out of that funding is enough money to operate on, pay our salaries, pay our travel and our operating expenses, and then the rest of it goes to the project. Okay. And it's an equal distribution. Everybody gets the same amount. So, if you, and I'll say this too. Ann and I it's been a challenge to get good projects and making people aware of what we do. And so by virtue of us expanding our presence in a lot of places, and I think the leadership program is going to really help us in being able to better position ourselves to fund really good projects in communities, because we're bringing people out of rural areas to this program to help them understand about how they can better their community.
Yeah.
And if you do that, then it's a win-win situation both ways.
Okay, great. Now I want to turn to Anna.
Okay.
Ronnie, I've been to y'all office, and every time I come, Ronnie is busy. I mean, somebody's calling him all the time. That phone is up to his ear. So
Yes.
that puts a lot of stuff off on you
Yes.
as far as being program manager and budget minded and everything else. So give us an idea of what you do. Give
What I
our
do.
audience just
Oh, gosh.
something about your day-to-day, and of course, it's not keeping Ronnie in line, but helping Ronnie stay.
tried that. It
helping
doesn't work.
Ronnie stay, because I mean he really receives people 100 phone calls a day where he's trying to juggle the Wiregrass and everything they're trying to do. And comfort people at the same time,
Yes.
because when you put in for a grant, it may be small for a small farmer needing to buy fertilizer, whatever to do to help. So give us an idea of what you go through and what your job is.
Well, my job has a lot of different areas, but basically I'm going to help everybody through the process of getting a grant. I manage the grants, so whenever you write a grant, I bring all that information together and I take that and pass it along to the council. I kind of run the day-to-day operations at the office. So if you call, you're going to get me. If you have a question about a grant, if you need help with the application, it's going to be me that's walking you through that. Then throughout the process, I'll kind of be there to help you along the way, check on you, make sure how your grant's going. We do press on our grants, and so I'll kind of check and set that up with Nikki. She helps with that some too. And then when we finish, when I'm trying to get you paid, I'm going to be the one writing the check to you.
Okay.
So I'll just kind of walk through the process with our grantees. And then I work with the board and the council also, just to make sure what our priorities are and that we're actually meeting the needs of the community, because it's a great tool. You know, the legislators love us because they're able to, local people know what they need.
Okay.
You're going to know in Russell County what's important to Russell County, because all of our counties are different.
Yes.
And so that's a really good part of what we do, is that there people that represent you in your community that are actually picking the priorities and looking at the grants.
Okay. And could you give us that website for the people can go to and just
Sure.
read about the Wiregrass?
It's wiregrassrcd.com, and when you go on there, you can click on grants, you can click on education grants, you can click on general grants, you can see a little bit about what we've done in the past, and also you can actually apply for the grant. It's April 1 to June 1, and it's the easiest grant you will ever write. People should not be afraid to write a grant. Basically, you want to tell us who you're serving and how you're going to serve them. That's what the council's looking at. They really want to look at what kind of impact you're going to make in the community.
And one thing that I like the most about you all, when you write these grants and we award people, you come out and take pictures and you put them on the website. You want to talk about that for a moment?
Yeah, so one of the requirements we have to do is press, because we want people to know what's going on in your community. And so we go and we'll set up a time and we come out and we celebrate what we've done. It's just a time to get together and celebrate. I love that because it brings people together, because you have different schools that are represented, you have different things going on, and a lot of times what happens is those people will connect up at our press events and they'll come up with a completely different project that they would have never known. That's what's good about connecting the community. Okay. So I think we're kind of a bridge in a lot of ways. We bring a lot of different organizations together and they're all kind of a part of what we do.
And I honestly think that you're helping a lot of people who never thought they could get any help. It may be small, but it's something that fills in the gap.
Yes.
And by saying that, I'm going to turn to Nikki and talk about the LEAD Wiregrass, because LEAD stands for leadership.
That's right.
And we have I want you to tell us about how we're trying to educate the members such as myself who are in the program, in the Wiregrass program, and me as far as representing Russell County. But then after that, I want you to talk about the new program that you have right now that we fit to put into the school system to try to identify young leaders as we grow.
Yes. Well, for LEAD, and by the way, the new LEAD year is going to be starting really soon. We're going to be taking applications for that really soon, and so you can visit the website, Wiregrass RCD. Wiregrass is a dot.
WiregrassRCD.com. And we have the new education one too, wiregrass.education.
Yes, and our new education website is great. We have some lesson plans. I'll tell you about that in just a second. But for LEAD, without these strong community leaders, I feel like we will all suffer, right? Everybody, it's one thing to have the money, the funding to get things done, but who's going to do it?
Yeah.
Somebody's got to step up and take ownership of those things. And so that was the goal for LEAD. Now we have sort of themes that we stick to with our education program for LEAD. And it's the things that we feel make up the important parts of the Wiregrass, the things that people need to know about: government, education, agriculture, and community development. Those are the things that this year we chose to focus on. And those focuses could change, but a strong knowledge base of those things that affect us here in the Wiregrass the most is what we're sort of aiming for this year. And with LEAD, one of the goals was that as you're put together with a region, you come up with a project. Okay, so every region had a project that they were supposed to be working on, and then March came along and changed everything for us with COVID, and so now all these projects that our regions were working on got kind of backburnered, right? So you guys were looking at partnering with Barber for a farmer's market, right? And so we weren't sure that those things were going to happen. And so then what we did was come up with one project that we could all work on collectively as a region, and that is how we came up with RISE, Wiregrass RISE. So RISE, this is a brainstorm that we came up with. It's essentially a pitch contest. Like you might be familiar with things like Shark Tank, or there are other pitch contests in the state. And so it's aimed at students from 3rd grade to high school seniors. There are 3 different categories, age groups. And they are encouraged to come up with an idea that it could be an invention, a business, a service, anything to make the Wiregrass an even better place to live. Okay, so sky's the limit, And so they put together a 3-minute video that tells us what their idea is, the people that they think will be impacted by this. They submit this, it's digital. It doesn't really, the quality of the format doesn't matter to us. We're looking for the idea. They can do it with a cell phone, camcorder, whatever, okay? And so they'll send these ideas to us, and each age group, we will choose a winner from each age group, and then they move on to the second round, which would be a live presentation of their idea. And there are a couple of other pieces that go along with that. They'd have to have some sort of like a visual aid. It could be a model, a blueprint, an item, whatever that is. And then the winner of this program gets $2,000 seed money to start their project.
Okay.
So pathway. And we were trying to decide how to roll this out. Will we do this with schools? How will we do this? Some people are in school, some people are still not in school. So it's really it could go any direction, but we have aimed it towards education, toward the schools. We have lesson plans that go along with the project. If a teacher, as a former educator, I could imagine that I would love that. I have a lesson plan. This is a project, a research project that my kids could do. And I know I'm meeting curriculum obligations and objectives because there are lesson plans on our website. There are English language arts plans, business career tech plans, government history civics plans to make this program meet all of those demands.
Well, guess what?
What?
since COVID have come in, it has stopped a lot of things, and we got most of our schools with maybe 60%
Yeah.
in classroom, and the rest are doing homeschool. So we're going to roll this program out on TV,
Awesome.
right
I
here
love
on
that.
Channel 7.
I love
So
that.
we are going to actually, when Anna sends that information of the program, we're going to show it as well right here
Oh, that'd be
on,
great.
on
That'd be
Veterans
awesome.
View. So the
Yes.
moms that are at home homeschooling,
Yes.
or the dads that are homeschooling, that's a project
Yes.
that they can do, and
it
their
meets-
child can win $100.
Right, and if it is through a club or a group, like a church group or whatever, that group also has money coming to them. Like
Right.
we call it a classroom, like a stipend, but it could be to any group. So homeschoolers, I think this would be great. It's a project that would really check all the boxes. I know, the state curriculum requires that you do a certain amount of research, and you use some technology, and so brainstorming, and you've got a history factor too, like how many things do we have in our everyday use that were created by young people, or the idea was birthed by a young person, a child. So really excited about this. It's brand new. We have high hopes. Hopefully it's something that we will
Well,
continue.
one of the things I can say that Russell County and Phoenix City, Alabama will definitely get a head start
Awesome.
by watching Veterans View and this program being shown as far as, hey, this is something that homeschoolers can use as well as the school system
Yes.
from, what's it, third grade?
It's third, fourth, and fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, 9 through 12.
Okay, so we got a little something for everybody. Now, since we talked about that, Anna, would you talk about the Southeast Alabama Regional Planning Commission?
Sure. So we have a new program. We actually have an overall program. It's called STREAM. And I know STEM education is a big hot word in education today. And so we developed our own program. It's called STREAM. It also brings in art and reading. And so it's an integrative approach to education. And so we've been doing lots of projects all over our 10 counties that have to do with STREAM. We did the Coleman Center in Dothan, and then we actually picked up our program with regional planning. It is actually in all their Head Starts. And so we have a 2-year program going with them. We're going to be putting in STREAM labs and carts and centers into all of their facilities. And so we're really excited about that. We're even actually doing some playgrounds. We're going to be integrating that into that. Also, as a part of this grant, we're going to be doing some community outreach. So there will be some opportunities in Russell County. This past year, we provided some packets where we
Yes,
to
sure
school,
did.
where they could do a take-home, and it had STEM activities in it. And so that's another opportunity. We're going to continue to be doing this. And so if you have a need, a school has a need, or maybe they want to put some more STEM education or art education, and those are some of the things that are missing in schools. It's kind of the extra things that you can't get in the classroom. And so we actually have professional development. We have supplies as a part of that. But we're really excited about Head Start. They've really, regional planning has really gotten onto the concept, and we're developing some great things for them.
Okay, and that's great. And now we're going to get ready to close, but we're going to close with the Executive Director, Mr. Ronnie Davis, to tell us a little bit about the grants and who qualifies.
We do have, like I said, our program is very wide based in what we look at. Keeping in mind though that we do not, or we cannot, because of the nature of the funding, we cannot fund individuals. I mean, a farmer or a business person or someone couldn't just come in and make application to us for a grant. Our monies are to be spent with local units of government, any non-qualifying nonprofit, or Board of Education, schools, private schools, any organization that can show us a status as nonprofit or unit of government, we have no problem with. One thing another thing I do want to pitch too is RC&D would not be here today if it weren't for our state legislators. And we're very fortunate in Southeast Alabama to have some pretty strong hitters in the state legislature that like what we do and see the good that we do in the communities and what we bring to it. And having those legislators, as well as our lead program, one of our biggest supporters in it is our rural electric co-ops. We work very closely with Wiregrass, South Alabama, Covington, and one more. Who's the other four? Anyway, the 4 electric co-ops we have down in our region that serve our area, P River. Those co-ops have been very much received in this leadership program and putting additional monies in there to help us move this thing down the road. Like I said, and Annis mentioned our partner with Southeast Regional Planning Commission. That's a whole new concept of what we're doing with them. We just, if you do good, people want to play with you. Yes. I mean, it's a whole deal. It's a good game, and we're enjoying being a part of it and making a difference.
Okay, good.
Yeah, really making a difference.
Okay.
Mr. Leroy, people
Yes.
can keep up with us and see all of the neat things that we're doing. They can follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay, great.
Look, one other thing, our class for lead is a 30-member class. I don't know if we mentioned that, but anyway, it's a 30-member class at the present time. 3 people from the 10 counties that we serve. So we're desperately looking for new members for this lead class for 2021.
Okay.
So
Why don't you just go ahead and tell us what they need to do in order to put in for the lead class of 2021?
Well, we have an application process, and it's on our website, and you may want to tell them exactly where to find it on the website.
Well, there's a couple places you can find it. It's on wiregrassrcd.com, but we have a separate website where it has all of our educational programs, and that's wiregrassrcd.education.
Yeah.
And we'll give Mr. Leroy the links to those.
Okay. Well, and what we'll do if we'll put that link on the bottom of the screen, which you just mentioned. We'll put it on the bottom of the screen so it'll be running as we talk.
But we're available. Always call us if you have a question.
That's right.
We're at the office. Send us an email. We will follow up with you if you have, or if there's something you're interested in. You're not sure if you qualify. You have an idea for a project and you're not sure it qualifies. We're there to help you.
Our website's a great place to start. There's there are a lot of things there. There's a lot of different videos, all kinds of content.
That's great.
And we're looking for folks. We're looking for these communities that need or trying to get off the ground. You got a lot of small communities in Russell County, Fort Mitchell, Hurtsboro, Phoenix City. They got resources, but we'll take somebody from Phoenix City in our class.
Right.
We're looking for those people, whether it be county commissioners, whether they be city employees, whether they be a council person. Whether they be just a member of the community that wants to, people who have ambitions of being involved in local politics, sometimes want to get their feet on the ground, figure out what it is before they ever get in it. This is a great place to learn. And I saw this as a real need when I was working with rural development. We dealt with so many small communities that were struggling for leadership. And I guess that's what inspired us to go down this path. So.
Now, and I want to say this: I'm by no means at all looking for any political job. But I do want to help my community grow.
Yes.
And as a matter of fact, tomorrow we will be having a meeting with the University of Alabama Economic Development Team about bringing the bike trail to Russell County in Phoenix City, Alabama. So that's something I picked up in the Wiregrass meetings and through this lead class, meeting all of these people that you bring in to talk to.
That's right.
So I would recommend to anyone, if they want to learn more, not just about the Wiregrass, but about the state as a whole, you will learn it in this leadership class, because they're not just bringing people out of the Wiregrass, they're bringing people from all over the state to talk to you about bettering the community in which you live.
And it's a commitment. When you get in this class, you're going to commit probably 6 to 8 days of a year. That's all.
That's
There's 2 sessions that will occupy 2 days. One when we have our initial gathering to sit down and get everybody together and get the lead program kicked off. We will take you to Montgomery and sit down and go through the legislative session with the legislature and your House of Representative members. We get to go sit in on the floor of both of those, and you get to meet with your representatives there. That's a 2-day session. And then we talk about economics, education.
Agriculture.
That's right. I mean, it's a broad scope of stuff. And at the end of the day, if 2021 will bless us without a COVID virus, we're going to kick this can further down the road than we ever have.
And that's great. And I truly recommend it for anyone who would love to do something to help make the community greater. And I just want to call the names of the counties that's in the Wiregrass, and that's Barber County, Coffee County, Covington County, Crenshaw, Dale, Geneva, Henry, Houston, Pike, and Russell County. And I just want to thank my guest today, Ronnie Davis, the Executive Director of the RC&D Wiregrass, Anna Cornelius. I know Anna, I ain't forgot. Anna Cornelius, the program manager, and Nikki Ham, the lead representative. So I want to thank you for your time and for taking the time to drive up to Phoenix City today to do this interview and to do this show. And so that's it. Another episode of Veterans View. And we like to say, wear your mask, social distance, and let's kick this COVID-19 so that we can get out of it and have a better 2021. Thank you.